Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Beneath the Lift Tower, fans podcast by fans for fans of Northampton Saints. My name's Charles McGilvray, and as always, I'm joined by Simon Stacey and Jess Kebble. How are you both doing?
Good.
Good, thanks, mate.
That was a bit alright, wasn't it? That was a hell of a fixture.
They weren't bad.
That was a hell of a game.
It always seemed to be against them, doesn't it? It's just because both sets of fans.
Yeah, they're always tight.
Vocal.
Yeah.
Both sets of fans are vocal, loyal, travelling numbers. Both teams are good side, so yeah, it's all round a perfect game for rugby match.
Yeah, you'd almost put Saints and Munster as almost a bit of an affinity between the two clubs, really. Munster probably think they're a much bigger club, but if you look at, you compare us to them, you think maybe Leicester and Leinster historically are sort of connected and similar in terms of being bigger clubs in their nations, etc. Us and Munster, I think we've had so many good games over the years, not least the final in 2000. There just seems to be an affinity with that club, and like you say, fans were they are a great set of fans, the Munster fans.
They are. Please don't swear on the podcast, okay?
Sorry, apologies. That rabble up the road, unfortunately.
Exactly.
They probably don't like us. They probably don't like us at the minute. 'Cause that's 3 on the bounce now.
Yeah. I mean,
so they probably don't want us again.
It's interesting. It's 3 on the bounce, and they're not the force they once were. But you gotta, Chris Boyd's gone in there, and I'm sure he'll do some good, like he did for us, because they're a massive club and they need to be back at the forefront of Europe with him.
It's just weird. It's weird watching Munster, because I've grown up watching them as well. Without O'Connell, like Donovan Callahan in the rock, like, you know what I mean? Just the legends, like
Stringer.
Yeah, Stringer.
Yeah.
Crikey, yeah. Because like a lot of they're not gone downhill, but they're not the team they were, and even their legends are gone now. Even like Zebo, he's retired. I'm guessing, or was he injured? So he was doing TV, wasn't he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's retired now, but I don't know.
Yeah, he does a lot of. I'm sure he must have been commentating on Max. I saw him in the car park.
Yeah, he was doing the telly. Yeah. Amani, what a player! But yeah, he's coming towards the end of his. I'm guessing this is his last season.
Yeah,
Conor Murray's been around for seems longer than I've been alive, but he's younger than me. It's just they're on a rotation, aren't they? They're not like Leinster. They just seem to have the whole Irish side now. So it used to be half and half. But
it used to be the Munster forwards and the Irish and the Leinster backs, didn't it?
Yep.
But I think.
But now you've got Leinster have got the whole Irish squad and then a Barrett.
Yeah.
A New Zealand Barrett to add in there, as if it could get any better.
And Snyman,
Yeah.
The only thing I would say about Munster, yes, they're not the names. They've got a few fantastic players. Don't get me wrong, but I would say Tag Bird. Wow.
Yeah.
What a player that boy is. I mean, I've always known he's good, and I've said for ages he's going to be in that line. I said on the last week that, if we can keep him quiet, we'll be all right. But bloody hell, we didn't. He was outstanding, and he's 100% aligned playing this summer. But
he was outstanding, but the amount of times they were offside. No wonder he got to our men quicker. Crikey.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably a point worth sort of covering off at the early part of this chat. I mean, the offside line was wow. I mean,
it became a running.
There was a
running. It was a running joke around where we were sat. We had some Munster fans around us, and they were very jovial about it. To be fair, it just became a thing that everyone was just shouting offside for everything at some point. But even they knew they were getting away with some of them. Like, some of them were like so obvious. I was, normally when it's like a marginal kind of 50-50 thing, you can probably give them the benefit of the doubt. But we were way beyond the benefit of the doubt for some of them. Like, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, and sometimes you get it. Sometimes you get it where, like, the whole line's offside, so that the referee or the linesman doesn't notice because, like, the whole line has gone up as one offside.
Yeah.
Whereas there's plenty of times, Burn being one really obvious case, where he's about 2 meters in front of the line, nothing given, and it's not like it'd been picked and everyone so there's no offside line. It was up in the air, etc. It was on the floor.
Yeah.
Burn is 2 meter past the line. And the refs and the judges probably should be leading with those calls, but they just weren't calling them at all.
No.
It was,
the irony.
They gave them they gave them quite a bit on the for each team, like on the 5 meter line. It seems to be this thing of like, unless it's happening on the try line, we'll just ignore it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The irony was they were offside at every single stage of their defence, and then we do one, and he pinged us for it. I was like, "You're having a laugh, mate." Literally our first offside line, and he's like, "Yeah, offside." I was like, "You are joking." They literally every single set play they were offside. But like you said, because they were running in a line, it's hard to judge. But when it's right in front of you, and the lino was right in front of me, you could see it. It's only a split second, but the problem is it's offside. You got to ping it.
Yeah, I felt that. I mean, I don't want to label the referee or anything like that, but I know he's an international referee and he has.
Just do it, mate.
But I didn't think he was very good at all. I think
it was awful.
There were times when it was almost like every time we put them under pressure in that first half, we had a lot of ball, a lot of territory. We put them under pressure, they would infringe. And he, might give us a penalty ever, but it was just non-stop every single time, and it meant we got no momentum. We couldn't finish chances that we were creating because they were cynically killing the ball and were not being punished for it. And I was a bit frustrated in that first half.
How you can put him in straight? I'm not judging this up to them, but how you can? He didn't even do challenge rugby, did he? He's just come from nowhere and gone straight into a massive game. 2 huge sides with a lot riding on the game, and he just seemed to be so far out of his depth with the decision, especially like we just mentioned, the offside line. We shouldn't blame the ref, but sorry, he's not welcome back at the Gardens. Hey, Jordan, mate, you were rubbish.
He hasn't ref at international level. I don't think there seems to be a desire to help Georgian rugby by promoting him. And Georgia actually have a link with the Irish Rugby Union. So to help develop their refereeing standards.
That explains a lot then, doesn't it?
That doesn't help the image when you get results like that. But that referee himself, he was actually stabbed. So he was refereeing a match in Georgia between 2 of the big teams. Yeah. And for whatever reason, one of the officials from one of the teams decided to stab him. So, talk about rugby being a friendly environment. Yeah, I'd love to see what it's like in Georgia when that's happening. Yeah.
But yeah, still, he was awful. Sorry.
I think it's an all-round refereeing problem. Well, I'm hesitant to put the blame on referees because at the end of the day, there's supposed to be a system in place where these mistakes are recognised, and that for me seems to be where the problem is. And I think some of it's a lack of referees wanting to come up into the game for reasons that a lot of them have been very honest about. That some of the abuse that they're getting when they ref international games, I can't remember which ref it was who just. There was one ref in the Premiership who just refused to ref Premiership rugby because of some of the abuse that they were getting, and they went elsewhere.
Was it Nick
and so it
been Nick Berry.
So yeah, there's definitely more than one that said he won't do internationals anymore, one that said he won't do, and so it is a hard job, and then it obviously means that you kind of have to have a reliance on some of them that maybe aren't doing the best jobs. But at the end of the day, you're supposed to have a system in place. There is theoretically a review system in place. They review their performances much like the players do. But I'm not sure what the kind of system in terms of the outcomes of that is, because it's across the board. It's not like one individual. I mean, again, we don't want to stray too far from our game, but the one that was it Leinster and Bath, the decisions that were made in that completely ruined a match. So we're kind of left with just an overall system that isn't working how it's meant to, because these refs can all improve. There's no reason that they can't take feedback on board and criticism and improve, but it's really hard when you've obviously got a system in place that's doing everything it can to keep them, and so they don't focus too much on actually this element of your performance needs improvement, needs work.
You need to have just one line of rules, because we're testing all these new laws in all different continents. The referee, but going back to him, just going to say the one thing that proper did my head in, and was the final nail in the coffin from being absolutely bloody useless, was the absolutely awesome tackle. I think it was Kemeny on, I can't remember who it was, and the ref stopped the game straight away and said it was head contact. I was like, mate, if that's given for head contact, I'm leaving right now. It was an absolute no, it wasn't. It was Pearson.
It was Pearson.
Pearson. Yeah, he absolutely mullered him. The ref's like, no, there's a head. And then he went on the ref link. He was like, I can see head contact, so I stopped the game for danger. And then he went, oh, was it shoulder to shoulder? Okay, I'll go with shoulder to shoulder.
The only
in
thing
front of you, man.
The only
But
thing
to be honest,
and I agree.
I don't actually think that's necessarily a problem. Like he's seen a collision, and when it happens that fast, I saw it and thought he'd hit him on the head.
It
Like,
was right in front of me, and it was
yeah, but
Yeah.
it wasn't right in front of me. So for me, at one point, it was so big, and the guy's head literally snapped
Whiplash.
back. You can see why in an immediate situation, a ref is like, I have to stop this just in case. Like, I actually don't think that's necessarily wrong. You know, he wasn't quick to make a decision. He spoke to the TMO. The TMO informed him sort of what had happened. But in that moment, I remember thinking, oh, I hope he hasn't hit him on the head there, because that would be bad. And as it was, he got it absolutely bang on perfect. But like I said, the head snap back
It was,
so fast and so forceful. You kind of and that is it was a legal tackle. Like, I don't think anyone was debating that. But I can absolutely see where he stopped the game in the moment and got onto the TMO link, to be honest.
It took too long, though, way too long to decide that. And then he was waiting for the TMO. He did it for Tariq Afar as well when he said his leg was trapped. He went, your leg looks really badly trapped, and he got up and he was fine. I get it for player safety, but at full speed, I was in line with the ref. It was right at the same angle I was looking at it. It was absolute beast of a hit.
You know, but the thing is, like, so obviously, I think the more the factor there was it was a tackle that hit the ball, and therefore you got that extra sort of bounce on its in the hit, and therefore the extra whiplash. It was shoulder into sort of chest into ball, and then sort of bounced off, massive whiplash. Referee sort of panicked, called it high, whatever, reviewed it, got the right decision, you know, and that's what saving grace is, the fact that he probably made a mistake in the moment, but he hasn't doubled down, and you know, because I've seen plenty of refs who won't go admit to mistakes.
But the point being is, sorry to interrupt you, he ruined the play because Pearson come through at such force, knocked, I can't remember who it was it Murray or someone back, and he could have stole the ball. But because he decided it could have been a thing, they end up getting a scrum. We could have turned it over then and scored a try.
Yeah, I get that, and it is.
The TMO's there to go, that was head contact, you need to stop the game. Not him fannying about going, oh, that was a bad hit, when it was perfectly legal.
Yeah, I get that, and I agree with that to some extent, but it's not the worst thing I've seen, because he sort of got to the right decision ultimately. You know, it would have been a lot worse if he doubled down and thought, well, no, it's too high, and at least he's, like I said, I've seen plenty of referees who will refuse to admit they're wrong and follow through on a bad decision. So that I sort of don't mind so much. Anyway, let's get to the game. But sorry.
No, I was just going to say that it felt to me like that was the system working how it's meant to. Like he had an initial kind of what he thought had happened, and he's, you know, he didn't just give a penalty or whack a card out straight away. You know, he did what he was sort of meant to do.
Why didn't he play on? He could have played on, and for TMO go, can you just check that because that looked bad? They would
have but then I suppose the problem is if it was head contact, you're supposed to stop a game immediately. So he's kind of in a catch-22 situation there, really, isn't he?
It's too premature, because if the player's down on the floor rolling around like he's just been knocked out, fair enough. But he hadn't. It wasn't.
I think you're right. I think in hindsight, he should have, like a lot of the referees do, go, can you check that and play on? Like that would have been the best outcome. But it's also not the worst outcome.
The worst outcome.
It just irritated me because that was in the second half, and it was way after so many other mistakes he's made, especially at the scrum, because he was taking too long at the scrum, and they're bound to engage pre-engage, especially when they're down to one man out of the pack, to try and waste time, and he just let them away with it. But we'll leave I'm just gonna.
Yeah, let's get to the game, because I mean, like we should. Such an amazing game. Two amazing performances.
It was such
an
amazing
overshadowed by refereeing, and I don't think it was, to be honest. I mean, there's always going to be fights, but I mean that this season, I think it's because we're not maybe the force that we were. Maybe we've had some unbelievably great games. I think this side's got this like emotional piece with it, where the big games brings out the big performances. Our bigger match, you know, the Bath game, etc. We played unbelievably well, and we played unbelievably well against Munster. In Pretoria, played unbelievably well. They fire themselves up. They put in great, which we haven't seen consistency across the season. But just like therefore we get these amazing fixtures, don't we? And it's so phenomenal to watch.
It was. Yeah. I'm not saying the ref took away from it. I just meant it. He just didn't make good decisions. But the game was amazing. Can't lie.
I think it's like it's got to have been far and away the best game of the weekend. I mean, I saw some of the scores were so outrageously insane that it can't have been that actually entertaining to watch. Like, you know, an 80-point drubbing of Leicester. As much as I sort of chuckle at it, it's not going to be a it's not going to be that entertaining a match to have watched really in the end, is it? Like at least ours was close, and for the neutrals and for the supporters of each side, like it was an incredible spectacle.
It's a shame, we're not going to go into it, but like the fact that it was on Premier Sports 2 or whatever it was on, right? Because if that game had been on, terrestrial TV and neutrals had turned in to watch that game, wow, that you would have got such a positive reaction because it was for the neutral couldn't have been a better game. It was outstanding. I mean, I think to point out some of the sort of key aspects. I mean, for them, I think Byrne was just like he kept them in that game almost single-handedly. I think him and Crowley to some extent. I thought Crowley was
because I thought it was weirdly enough. Obviously, we came out on top, but I don't think Finn Smith had his best game, and I think Crowley was the best 10 on the pitch that day. I thought he was great.
I disagree
because he's got quite a lit to live up to, but he stood out. I think he stood out for me. I thought he was phenomenal.
I think his kicking game was out purely class compared to Finn. I think Finn's kicking game wasn't great. I think but Finn's delivery and work at the line was better.
Yeah.
The setup for the Ram try, for example.
Oh, the tap on was lovely. Yeah.
Was sensational. He got the best out of the movement of stuff. Whereas Crowley, I think the reason why Crowley isn't an international 10 in my view, he's very much stand and deliver. He takes the ball, planted, chips it on. Whereas the best 10s in the world have got this. I've said it before, got this sort of perpetual motion.
Yeah.
And like they're constantly, even if they're just treading water, they're constantly moving. Where he was like on his heels, throwing out balls, And I don't think the best 10s in the world operate like that. But his last ditch
in that element of the game. But I think it wasn't just Finn, to be honest. It was sort of our team. Like for quite large periods of the game, like our kicking game was just off. We were just making the wrong decisions repeatedly, and so I feel like that's maybe why that stood out to me. Because I would still argue I think Crowley had a better game than Smith overall, and that's why I would argue that. I just felt like our kicking game from the 9 and the 10, we didn't seem to be making the right decisions sometimes. Like we made very odd decisions to kick away possession when we were making gains, and kicks going too far and people marking kicks and things. Like it was just a little bit off. But I do agree, like you said, his line work in the passing game from sort of all of that back line was definitely on it.
You got to remember as well, though, we only had Mitchell on probably 80% for 65 minutes of that match. So he wasn't at it as quick as usual. So that's going to hamper Smith a little bit.
Yeah, there was lots of taping happening up for him later on. Yeah,
Mitchell and Finn both took knocks. I don't think it was necessarily their decision making with the kicking, because I thought a lot of the times they would make right decisions to kick because we weren't going anywhere. Their defense was getting on top of us. We weren't going anywhere. The right decision was to kick. I think maybe the execution of some of those kicks wasn't at the level they needed to be. Like there was one where Finn put in a cross kick. It was Tommy Freeman up against, I think it must have been Nash, and it ended up being a very easy mark for Nash. Right? If that kick had been competitive for Freeman to really have a go at it, then it could have been a try scoring opportunity. But it just wasn't on the money with some of the kicks. But the decision probably to do it was probably right. Just he didn't execute. Yeah. But whilst they played well but not necessarily at their best, I thought a few players had games of their lives. I thought Seabrook, obviously. I mean, it's that finish from the inside ball from Hutch to round the fullback and hit to the corner, outstanding, wasn't it?
Yeah, the early as well. He's like, no one's getting me here. Sticks his tongue out, hand in the air, then dives over.
I literally saw it on the screen. I was like, I swear to God, if you drop the ball, I'm going to be so mad because you are celebrating way too far from the line. I was like, do not under any circumstances. Now he was on it. Like he's got a point to prove, hasn't he? He's been out for a while, and Ollie's basically got that shirt, and you'd have to fully wrestle him to get it off him. So he's come to make a point, and he made it. So
I thought his finishing was top notch. His turn of pace was excellent. His defensive work was again really great, and like you said, prove a point, because there are rumours that he won't be around the club next season. There's rumours actually he might be going to join that rabble up the road, but you sort of understand when you're seeing Ollie, Freeman, Hendy all getting selected, Ram all getting selected ahead of you, he's clearly a really good player, Tom Seabrook. It's sort of understandable, but he is a really talented player.
It really wasn't rated at Gloucester, clearly, was he? They just let him go. He didn't play much there, and they let him go. So, but yeah, you can see he's got talent. He looks like he's bulked up a bit again, though. He's filled out a bit and got a bit bigger.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because like wingers are, for us, a really big factor of our game. Some of our best players out wide, and therefore, you can, we've also developed that talent. Hendy, Furbank, Freeman, Slyton have all come through the academy, so they're almost gonna get the preference. Whereas you think, what Gloucester have announced? I think they're announced they're signing Ben Loader in from who was Irish and he's in South Africa. Was it Stormers? Right. So they're bringing him back. But you'd think you got this guy you've produced. He's clearly a talented lad. Why aren't they looking? Why isn't he starring in that side?
It's sometimes the case that you just don't settle at that. Look at, just for instance, I'll give you one I can think of. Chris Wiles. He was in and out of Saints, sort of like he left, went to Sarries. He ended up being the first choice every week and winning all those trophies. Sometimes your style just doesn't work with that team, does it? So
yeah.
Or it depends on the coach as well. The coach just might not like you, and you might have the talent, but just don't play to his way, and you're not going to get picked. Look at Eddie Jones.
Yeah,
style of play is a factor, but what a performance. The thing is, he's got a question though. If you're going to leave the guy, how often are you going to get an opportunity like that Saturday night, scoring a hat trick in front of rocking Franklin's Gardens? What an experience that would have been. But it's one of those ones where he clearly hasn't had the opportunities. He gets it, and you can't say he hasn't snatched that better than anyone else. That's got to be the best example of taking your chance ever.
It was actually nice to have. I know they probably got a lot of them somehow, not legally, because the Gardens was not far off half an hour, but to have an atmosphere like that, like you hear the cheering, you automatically think Saints have turned the ball over. It's not. It's because Munster are nearly scoring. They were that loud. You say about the atmosphere, I love it. As whenever they play us, they always bring so many, and they're probably the best Irish travelling fans. There's no comparison to Leinster ones. They've got to be the worst. No offence if you're listening, Leinster, but you are. The Munster boys, all at the end, all shaking hands, saying, "Oh, well played," and lovely bunch to have here.
Yeah.
Welcome back anytime.
Another standout player for me was Ram. I think he had an excellent game.
Yeah. He just every time he shows off, like I've mentioned it loads of times before, because I think it's such a key element of his game. But like the gymnastics background, like some of the stuff he can do, is just I don't think anyone else can do it. Just simply because of the skills that he's gained from that, his ability. We've already talked about being able to jump high, but twisting and turning his way out of defensive sets and things like, and just getting through and making gains and stuff. I'm not sure how many other players there are that can do it the way that he does. That's such an invaluable kind of. You wouldn't necessarily think it straight away, like, oh yeah, gymnastics is going to translate well, but it really, really does.
And his passing skills probably showed off more than normal for him as well. That CD stuck out there for Seabrook's try, like a 30-meter pass.
Yeah.
Flat to the line, throw it out, all phenomenal. And then the quick hands for his first try, for Seabrook's first try as well. Like, really, he's getting to that form where he was just before that injury he had.
Yeah.
And it's going to make selection unreal. Like, who are you going to pick when they're all in one form? It's going to be very difficult.
He should be sniffing around England again soon, I'd have thought as well.
Yeah, especially with the injuries potentially they've got. Yeah. Anyone else stand out particularly for you two? I've got a couple more names, but
Lockett had a great game again.
Yeah.
Tariq Afar, to be fair, against a big Munster pack.
Yeah, see that's who I was going to say. He stood out for me. I thought he was ridiculous. Like I think, not just necessarily in the scrum, because the scrum it's always a weird thing with the scrum, but like, with ball in hand, he's just a machine. Like, honestly, he's absolutely ridiculous. He was absolutely everywhere, smashing his way left, right, and centre through people. And I thought he's really coming into, because I think he came off, wasn't it? It was his first performance was at Glasgow away in this cup last year, and it was like I remember him being really good in that, and then obviously he hasn't maybe had as many chances as he'd have liked, but obviously with the injury now to Manny, yeah, he stepped up in a big way.
He's another Manny, isn't he? He's another converted back rower, so they should be good in the loose.
I think last few weeks he's really, like you say, stepped
Yeah,
up. And
mate.
Yeah,
I think his set piece has been pretty solid. He's done pretty well there. You know, that was a tough task, and he did all right against Munster and in France as well. So I
yeah,
think
yeah, exactly.
I was worried when, like you say, the ref stopped the game. I thought, oh no.
Yeah, you
I
say
know.
on the ref thing, oh, his leg's really badly trapped. And I was like, oh, that don't sound good. And then he just got up and he was fine.
He just got up. I think the ref probably saw it. I think the ref probably saw it literally trapped and probably turning slightly, and you just don't want to risk, I suppose, something really bad in it. And then, yeah, he got up, and I was like, oh, he's completely fine. Like, considering some of the things where, like, obviously Alex got himself a little bit injured, and it was obviously something not even that noticeable, and he looked sort of a bit worse than I thought. I thought Cole's before the injury, which does not look good, considering he's only just come back. As soon as the jersey comes out to wrap around the arm, I'm like, oh, you never want to see that. But
was that the same arm? He popped a shoulder.
I'm not sure.
I think it was a wrist injury rather than a shoulder injury.
Yeah, I thought he popped the shoulder or something.
But I thought he gave us much needed kind of sort of calmness in the line out. Like it was like spot on this week compared to last week. I know we had Curtis back, but last week Curtis made kind of the same mistakes as Walker for me when he came on. Like it didn't help. It didn't make the lineup better. But just having Coles back, it seems to be, you know, the calls that he makes, the presence that he brings to it. You know, it just, yeah, it's a really crucial aspect of the game that we miss when he's not there. And obviously, none of us know what the injury is yet because they haven't said. But whenever someone wraps it up in a jersey and carries it off like that, and he looked like he was in pain, so I don't think that's going to be a good outcome. So it looks like we'll be down him for.
He didn't come back out, I don't think, the tunnel afterwards.
No, I know he went straight in the tunnel, didn't he? So, yeah. But yeah, he was really, really good before that happened. And I guess we've got
Augustus. He was an absolute wrecking ball. He literally had he smashed them to bits. I was going to call him Ralph. That's what I'm going to call him now. He absolutely he was smashing them back meters and meters.
Yeah, that's the best game he's had in terms of ball carrying for a while. He was tremendous, I thought. I mean, that's the thing, you know, there were so many really good performances. You mentioned Curtis Langdon. I mean, wow, he's back to it. He's just unbelievable every week, isn't he?
Yeah, you've got to ask the question of what he's got to do in terms of England interest. Like, it blows my mind that he's even if he just gets called up and he only plays like Italy or something. Like, it blows my mind that he's not even in the wider kind of squad call up. But yeah,
the fact that Borthwick's changed the captain to a Toji now might give Curtis a chance of getting in, because it means he can drop George.
Yeah, well, George is injured actually as well.
It's a good excuse to get rid of him.
Yeah, he got injured this weekend, didn't he?
I agree.
He's totally done. Dan and Curtis should be the two for England all day long.
And then I feel like
Cowan Dickey,
or LCD. Yeah, I feel like though we've got a. I mean, the standout outside of Seabrook has got to be Pollock. He won us the game. That's not even hyperbole. He literally won us the game. He literally won us the game. That try-saving tackle is the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life. That's that was a 100% definite try, even against Pollock, and somehow it still wasn't. And then the turnover at the end was just literally pitch perfect. He couldn't have made it more obvious that he'd released and gone straight back over it. It was just, I've literally watched that clip of it at the end on repeat so many times. It's a beautiful passage of play. Like, it's just so clean, like how he gets over the ball, and it's ridiculous.
I was going to leave the chosen one to last, but yeah, that tackle.
How he got to him as well.
I don't know. It's out of this world. It's like, it reminds me of Courtney did one, didn't he, last season or the season before? He just sprinted up to catch up with someone that he had no right to catch up with. That was ridiculous. Even when Pollock got hold of him, I thought he's still going to sort of scramble his way through to the try line, and then nope. Like,
that was the only saving grace. It was the scrum half, because he was tiny, so Pollock could pick him up, drop him, and then try and get the ball. But yeah, it was a brilliant piece of play. Not taking away.
It was, you know, a long space to chase him down over a period of time. Like, the acceleration to get from like naught to be there. Like, it was over a space of about 5 minutes. It was so incredible. And then to make such a big contact with his initial hit, to put him down. You think, oh, he's still going to slide over, but no, to have like the strength to get his body round over the ball to nullify it, and it didn't even. It's not even like he held it up. He stopped him before the line. Like that was insanity. How he can do that.
And he had a lot of balls go. Like the turnover in the end was like literally pitch perfect, but Jesus, the confidence to go for it, because that was at the point of like, we give a penalty away, he screws that up even just slightly and gives a penalty away, that's the game gone, right? Because they were easily within kicking distance. And so for ages I was like, you want them to get a turnover, but I just thought, don't do that, like just do pressure until like a knock on happens or something. But he just went, nope, I'm gonna get over this. He waited for the perfect moment where, he had a clear, they gave him a clear path to it really, but no, that was a ridiculous turnover. And we had Munster supporters sat, well, to our left and right. But when he came on, the supporters sat to our left were like, oh, that's the Pollock kid, you've got to watch out for him. I was like, yeah, you do, it turns out. You really do.
The one thing that made me laugh, and I'm not calling him arrogant because he's not, but he's got that little bit about him, was when they were warming up, Ferguson was chatting to the lino because he was getting absolutely wound up with the offside line. And Pollock was running towards that end of the pitch to go and warm up, and he just barged his way between the two of them like he didn't give two shits who they were. It was just like, excuse me, I need to warm up because I'm going to be coming on soon. It was just like, not that he was being rude. It's just like, yeah, get out of the way.
The thing with a turnover as well, because I don't want to not go back to the referee or whatever, but I think there probably was a penalty to them a couple of phases before. We were the wrong side of the ruck and really slowed the ball down, and I think it was Angus just wasn't getting out of the way. He couldn't do anything. They were trapping him in, right? But the referee, I think I've seen.
That's possibly why, because some things that have happened this year is like, I've really noticed a kind of an uptick in refs sort of saying, no, you're trapping him. I'm not going to give you the penalty. You are trapping him, because sometimes penalties are given against someone for not rolling away. And I'm like, but how do you expect them to roll away when someone's like leaning their full weight on them or something? I was like, it's not physically possible. And so I've seen a lot more of them kind of left because they don't want to reward a team that's creating kind of the issue in the first place. But they said they're always 50-50s, but there was literally nothing wrong with, because sometimes when you get a turnover you think, oh, actually their hand just slightly went past the ball. None of that. It was literally perfect. Like that is like what you put in, that's what you put in the textbook, like to teach people how to do it. Literally, it was,
he got his shoulders so low so quickly. He was on it. Like, I don't even understand how you can move that quick in that direction and keep on your feet. It was sort of 1 minute his hands were out the ball, and next head, shoulders down on the ball. Great strong position. Picked it up, pulled it back, and like you said, won us the game. Like we've said before how losing Courtney Laws, we weren't. It's not that you're missing a player, who's going to get a billion tackles and all this and score a billion tries. You're going to miss him for those moments of matches when they just turn on this quality and they win you the game. Semi-final, who do we need to hold up the ball to turn it against Sarries? Who do we need? Who's there? Courtney Laws. Champions Cup quarterfinal, who makes that last ditch tackle? Courtney Laws, right? And Henry Pollock is, I told you, he's the chosen one. He's coming to be in and be that man for us. He's just 2 tries a week before against that away. It's phenomenal, lad.
To be fair,
I mean, the commentary on the commentary on the clip as well, when he turns it over, like someone in the background literally just shouts because they just loved the move so much. Like it's just, and the thing is, like they said, there is a slight arrogance to him, which I don't think is a bad thing, but like it's obviously not like getting to his head beyond that. Because if it was me, I'd have just the biggest head in the world. I'd just be like swanning around like I'm the bee's knees. But like he just comes on and kind of does the business, and he does it like phenomenally.
I don't think it's arrogance. I just think it's fearlessness. I just think...
I think it's a confidence that he deserves to have as well. Like obviously,
it's not like a case of that's difficult. It's like no, I'll just do that. He just have such belief in his ability, and he backs it up. It's like self-affirming. Like I'll just step him and run the distance. I've done it, because I can do that.
Yeah, because we normally kind of learn about the self-fulfilling prophecy as like a bad thing. Like it's normally like discussed in kind of the realms of like bad behavior and stuff, but like he's got like the opposite of that. It's like the self-fulfilling prophecy of like I am the best, and I've got no doubt in the world that like he's going to get to that level of considering he's what, 20, 21? Is he still 20?
And he just
Like,
turned 20.
20 on Tuesday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just turned 20, right? Like, to be that good at that age, like he's got to have the confidence. I've got no doubt in my mind he's gonna go on to be one of the best. Like, and you to say that about someone who's 20,
I
like
think he'll
we've
be
said that about. I'm sure we've said that about. I'm sure we said that about players before, but there's only kind of a select few where you can say at 20 that they could go on to be like one of the best in their position.
He's gone past that stage now where you can't overhype him. Like as a kid, he's
Yeah.
not now. He's 20. It's not like where you're going, oh, this lad's got it. We just got to watch, keep his head. No, let him play his game now. He believes in himself. He's got the talent. He's got the physique. He's got the speed. He's still kept his speed even though he's bulked up. And I think if he keeps on the route he's going, he'll easily be a Saints legend if we can keep him, and he could be even England captain because he's got everything, I think, and he'll just go on to good things.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the captaincy piece, but star, sure.
Future.
Maybe that's a different kettle of fish, but in terms of ability and stardom, for sure. I think I can't remember a player, and like, you know, we're talking about Courtney Laws, and who's one of the all-time greats of the game, that was so obviously good at such a young age. Courtney Laws wasn't Henry Pollock at 20. Courtney Laws was a great, exciting prospect that was a massive physical presence, massive tackler, right? Went on to be one of the greats to ever play, no doubt about it. I don't think anyone looked at Courtney Laws in the same way they're looking at Henry Pollock now and saying, bloody hell, this kid's good. Like we're talking like the all-time greats of the game.
I would agree, but there is like nearly 20 years difference there, isn't there? So like the techniques now and the training now is a lot more advanced.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying you're wrong.
He's also though got to be
more ability and more chances.
Yeah.
There's more stuff to do and more techniques and more training
But it's relative, isn't it? Like you're looking at the game 20 years ago, the game wasn't where the game is now.
No, that's what I'm saying.
But you're saying like Courtney Laws in the context of the game 20 years ago, you still won't look at him going, oh, he's going to be one of the all-time greats. He obviously became that.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at Henry Pollock and I'm going, he's 20 years old, and I think he's going to become one of the all-time greats. There aren't many players that in history of the sport at that younger age you're like, Jesus, this kid's one of the.
He's got to be the easiest, one of the easiest players to coach, because you just be like, no notes, just keep doing whatever it is that you're doing. Like, I literally have nothing I can say to you at this point. Like, you know.
When I say he's captain, I mean as future captain. I mean that's just the ultimate honour. Like, if you play the way you are and you become the best player, you become the leader of men. And he could be that. That's all I meant by the cap. I don't want to put pressure on him.
Yeah, he definitely could. But also, I think
to be sometimes captain of your country, and even like maybe like higher, is like the ultimate accolade.
Yeah.
So he
certainly could. But like I said, people are also in terms of individuals, you just sometimes don't know. I mean, we had Courtney captaining kind of towards the end, didn't we? But he was never in kind of real contention for club captaincy, because some people don't. Well, some people just don't need it. Like, he already was a leader, so he didn't really. And some people don't necessarily want it. Like, I know it sounds weird, but some players don't want the responsibility. So we just simply don't know what he will want 10 years down the line. You know.
The thing you have with Pollock as well is you'll hear him. Even you can hear him on the ref link.
Yeah, definitely.
He's constantly on. A 20-year-old kid telling 30-year-olds what to do. He just knows. What are you doing? Get over there.
It's a long way for him to develop, that side of his game. And some of the best players of all time weren't. Joan Loma wasn't a captain. George Smith wasn't a captain.
You're not forwards though. He wasn't a forward, was he?
George Smith was.
Yeah, George Smith.
And sometimes they could be the best player in the world. Doesn't mean they're a decision maker. But anyway, I think we could talk about Henry Pollock forever. I think it might be worth having we now know the route to the final if we can keep winning. So it's amazing. Two games at the Granton's Gardens.
Yeah, but I'm not just saying this because I love that Saracens lose, but them losing has given us the better side of the draw. So I'm just like, thank you very much for somehow losing to what was apparently not a first cast team. I'm just like, thank you very much.
Yeah, I think Claremont are one of the biggest teams in Europe massive side.
I was going to say Claremont's like wage bill's like 36 million a season a week. So like even third strength Claremont team's pretty strong.
They've
I didn't see it, so I don't know.
They've reined all that in. You know, there is now a much lower cap in France. It's around still more. It's still like around 11, 12 million euro.
It's
still huge, but it's not what it was. 5 years ago, it was like you say, 30 million pound wage bill.
Yeah,
they don't have anymore. But they're a massive club. But I don't think they're beyond. I think getting them to the Gardens is well within the realms of possibility.
Yeah.
I think if someone said to me you could have Sarries in a knockout or Claremont, I would pick Claremont every day, even not looking forward, because Sarries are just one of those that like they're almost like the opposite of Claremont. Like Claremont have had kind of like the bridesmaid tag for ages because they just fall at those hurdles, and Saracens usually tend to be the opposite. Tends to be that brings out the best in them, and then like you look at the game afterwards. I want to stay away from Toulouse for as long as you physically can because they are like. I mean, it's a shame, isn't it? Because you really want to talk about, you'd love to say it's to win the competition, but I don't think there's any English club that can realistically compete with that. Like, so you want to avoid them as much as possible because, obviously eventually if you do get through the stages, you'd perhaps play them. But I was like, I don't want them at the quarterfinal stage. Absolutely not. And instead we have either Cast or Benetton, one of whom we've already beaten. And the other one, the other one we possibly had a much better chance. Unfortunately, it means that we get Leinster in the semi if we get that far again.
If they get that far.
Yeah, and if they get that far, but
yeah, they will.
Which you put your money on. But no, I just thought like Saracens losing is lovely anyway. No offense if any of them are listening, but you know what it is. But yeah, them losing helping us out is an extra kind of lovely part of it.
It's just a bonus. It's at the Gardens and not at Claremont. If you're at Claremont.
Oh God, no!
It's a hell's
absolutely not.
I don't think we've got the team this year to go away to a big team in France like Claremont and get a win.
I wouldn't think we'd get away for
2 French teams in the last 16 and the quarterfinal that weren't La Rochelle or Toulouse to meet the semi-final and have another go at Leinster in Ireland. You'd have taken it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm just glad I thought like. That was a first Leicester team, and they lost 80 points to 12 to Toulouse. I was like, stay away from us, stay away from us. It wasn't, to be honest, it wasn't just Sarries losing. We also needed Sale to beat Toulon, which thankfully they did. So we just everything kind of went the way we would have wanted it to. Because we got the nicer. I say nicer, and I'm saying that for anyone listening at home in like quotations, because it's Europe and anything can happen. But we do have the nicer run-in of games. Theoretically, it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to win either. I mean, I said we're not the force we were last year, but it's a heck of a chance to set up another Leinster semi-final, definitely.
And you sort of think if we go in, I don't think we're as good a team as we were last year, right? For obvious reasons, but I do think having another crack at Leinster in Ireland, we'd be better prepared than we were last year.
Oh, 100%.
Right, no Courtney, no lads, massive losses, right? No Waller, no Moon, but the rest of them have had that experience, have had that opportunity, will want revenge. They'll be bang up.
Definitely.
They'll know where they went wrong before, didn't start well, but they finished really strongly, so they'll carry that. But big task, big ask to get there first.
Yeah.
Yep. Don't couch it.
And then anyway, before that, we've got Quins with a load of people missing.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know they'll have Marvelous Marcus missing, though, won't they? So all the hype.
Yeah, they've got. I think we've got 6. They've got 5, but then we've also probably got some people who are injured that kind of still injured that add to the tally slightly. But yeah,
I was just glad Lockett got back up because I thought he was off and coming off injured. I thought we're not going to have any locks left. We have to go to the market for a couple more reserve helpers.
Yeah,
it's been really short at lock, isn't we now?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm not sure if either of you two going to the Quins game.
No, I'm not.
No, it's the first one I've been to in a while, and I like going to Quins. Quins is a really good club, right? And there's a great atmosphere because Quins fans don't care if they win or not. It's just really friendly. They're more interested in
beer. That's why I'm not.
More interested in special ale they've got on or something.
They're up and down all match getting beer. It's like, you come to watch the rugby or get drunk. Go to the pub. It's cheaper.
Especially on a Friday night with the light show. It's a really good show. It's a good trip. But, it's having to take half a day off work so you can get there. It's your £50 plus ticket to get a decent seat somewhere. and for a game where they've basically made it a second tier pitch because none of the England internationals are playing, right? And I know they're both good sides still, and you still want to support Saints regardless. But I just felt this time, it's not worth. It's not. I didn't have the draw to do it because they've devalued the match in my eyes.
Yeah, and I also
Marcus Smith, what a game that would be.
It being on a Friday also just means that I can't anyway, because like I teach on campus Thursdays and Fridays, so those are the 2 days really I can't just take off willy-nilly.
Yeah.
So it's just simply not even possible to get there, to be honest. And like you said, you just don't know. I mean, I know we do predictions at the end. I've honestly got no idea because there's too many factors involved in what's really gonna happen with that, to be honest with you.
Why have they done this? Because I thought the whole point of the cup and the Six
There's
Nations.
there's always going to be. I mean, it used to be the whole Six Nations that we had issues, so it's certainly infinitely better. But I think the way that it's set up and how early England are allowed to have the players. So we'll still have Hutchison, for example. You know, we still get the Scotland contingent and anyone else, but yeah, it's the agreement, isn't it? And so it's just going to be a recurring thing of. It's annoying. It's annoying.
Early. Why do they have to have them a week early and not play? Just play and just stay match fit.
Yeah, the thing is they obviously they've got the new agreement which gives them access to the players, so they can have more time in camp, give them a better chance at international level. I don't mind that. The problem is they've tried to create what they call this decongested season by obviously we've got 3 less teams, unfortunately, but it means that you've got this less games to play. But then what's changed, so you think, all right, perfect. You can get all the cup games in, so the Six Nations and the Autumn Internationals can be free of any overlap. But the Players Association, the RPA, for a mandated 10-week gap at the end of the season. So there has to be a full 10 weeks between the 2 seasons. Okay. And therefore, what that did was recongest the season. So yeah, you lost your 3 rounds for the Premiership, but you've lost. There used to be like a 5-week gap between the season. You know, there used to be nothing.
Yeah.
They've just put that mandatory 10-week gap in, and it's recongested it. But it's my biggest hate about the sport. It kills itself. This should be the match of the 2 10s. Marcus Finn ahead of the Six Nations. Who's going to get the starting jersey? What a game to market to fans.
Yeah.
Like Jess just said, how lucky we only lose 1. It used to be like the whole Six Nations. We lost all the players for 6 matches, so it is better.
It's 2 this year, isn't it?
It's 2, yeah.
2 this season, yeah. Last year was 1 as well, but yeah, it's and I think because of the lines as well, brought it forward. But,
so I'm assuming that the team is obviously well, we don't even know in terms of, because I was going to say, the 1, 2, and 3 is easy, but Curtis might get called up. Right. I should imagine they're waiting to see what George's injury is.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be amazing if Curtis does get called up. But if he doesn't, you imagine
assuming
the same again.
The same again, yeah, definitely. And we've got to assume that Carlos will be with England anyway, but is probably not going to be. Well, he'll be with them. They'll rehab him and stuff. Usually, he'll go off with them. I think Ollie's going off with them as well, despite being injured. But yeah, so I'm assuming.
I'd probably go Angus and Lockett.
It depends about Timo as well, because don't forget, there's a chance, if he is back, then you just put him in, wouldn't you? Because you need it. That's you need it basically. If not, then they might go with Angus, or they may bring Prowse back in, very possibly.
Well, Callum Hunter-Hill's probably.
Oh God,
or Hunter-Hill, next
of course, rank, isn't he? Because he's slowly coming back into.
Him then,
Lockett and Callum Hunter-Hill with Timo.
And Hunter-Hill, hopefully, yeah.
Well, Big Ed Prowse, like I said, I think he did as proud in France.
Yeah, definitely.
And I was watching him. So he obviously did the warm up with the team, and often you've seen the players who aren't involved or just there warming them up, then carry on doing some extra exercise to get a workout in. Right? And he kept going at the end. He has slimmed down a lot. You can really see it. He's obviously a big, broad lad anyway. And he's still got a bit of timber around the front, which all the best people do.
We all have,
his bone structure around his face, he's got a real broad chin now because he's sort of
big jaw.
really slimmed down, and I imagine moving, transitioning from tight head to lock, you've probably got to shed quite a bit of weight, because of the different demands on it, and that might be the reason he might have been struggling to get the weight on to be a tight head. So then that, now he's probably stopped trying to get that weight on. He's really refining his shape and his body.
You don't want to be lifting a tight head, do you, in the lineup? To be fair,
no. But he's in really good shape. So I'm all for giving Big Ed Prowse another shot at second row. Get him in there.
I think. I mean, well, 6, 7, and 8 is always a question because sometimes they like
3 positions. That's the question.
Can he what? Sorry.
Can he play all 3 positions at the same time? I think he can.
Probably, to be honest.
He's the chosen one.
But like, it also depends on it because what you think. I can't remember. Someone said they think his best position is like 6 or 7, right? Not 8.
I think he's a 7.
Out 7.
A 7, yeah. 7. So it kind of depends what they want to do with Pearson as well, because like if they rotate him, you might have a Kemeny / Scott Young. Maybe you'll have Pearson and then Augustus. Like there's a few different combos they can work around there. So I'm not going to try and necessarily predict it, but they do seem to quite like rotating Pearson sort of after a few games. So they might, I don't know, but
Kemeny's played the last 3 though, hasn't he?
That's what I'm thinking. So that's why I said him / Scott Young, because maybe Angus will start just because Kemeny has the past 3 and it's just a bit of rotation in there, perhaps. Like as you said, there's a few different combos that they can go for. I would start. Well, you could start Augustus or Pollock, to be honest. Like, yeah.
I think I'd love to see Will Evans up against Pollock. Will Evans is just a phenomenal feel for
he
him.
Is, yeah.
His ability to get over the ball is sharp, and I think Pollock would learn a lot being on the same pitch with him and studying this.
Yeah. So
I'd love to see Pollock at 7, Gus at 8, and then you've got a choice of 3 at 6 would be my view. I think Kemeny, maybe he's had a few, but then he's such a great lineup option that who you've got in the second row suddenly becomes a factor as to whether you play him at 6 or not.
Yeah.
And he's a wing. He's always there on the bloody wing waiting to score a try.
And those big open those wide open games, which you're probably going to get at Quins, he's probably going to be a good operator in those games.
Yeah.
So, personally, I'd go a really good balance of Pollock, Kemeny, and Gus. I think
that's my back row. I said weeks ago.
Yeah, I like that as well. Yeah,
it's really balanced.
Yeah. I think the line-out option and the broken field play against Quins, when you maybe don't need to be quite as physical, really plays into Kemeny at 6, I think.
And I think 9 will be Tom James, won't it? Like he's back. So and came off the bench, so that feels like an easy kind of start for me with McParlin as your backup.
Yeah, he wasn't around on the warm up, McParlin. So that's an interesting because obviously McParlin seemed to have the edge. He was getting most of the bench time coming on before James obviously came back at the weekend.
Wasn't James injured though?
I think he was injured, wasn't he? He must have been because he hasn't factored in at all. So he must have been. Yeah,
or they just fancied McParland ahead of him because he was around training and warming up the side. Whereas obviously at the weekend,
possibly
McParland was on the pitch. Johnny Wyman was the extra scrum half running around.
It just seems odd that because Tom James's performance last season was ridiculous. I just find it hard to believe. But then who knows? 10 will be interesting. I still firmly believe we need an actual 10. So I would pick GMC if it was me, but I still think they're going to put Hutchison in there probably. But then we also don't have Freeman, so they may have to push someone out there and Hutchison goes somewhere else in the backs. I don't know. I don't know.
Play GMC all day long, in my opinion.
I would, yeah.
I would. I'd bring GMC in with because I think that obviously the reason was Stad was it was such a last minute call. They'd probably been running.
Oh yeah, no, 100%, yeah.
Whereas you've got a week to prepare. I'd probably bring GMC in.
But
Hutch,
especially with
Litchfield maybe or Hutch, probably Litchfield.
Yeah, I'd have Hutch and Litchfield in there because obviously you're gonna have you have Seabrook on the wing. It depends what Hendy is like. So if Hendy's back, then he will slot in. I still maintain you should have Ram at 15 and Hendy on a wing, but they seem to randomly like to swap that for some bizarre reason. I still think that Ram is a better 15 and Hendy is a better 14, personally. But I think if Hendy looks like he's going to be back, which hopefully he is, then yeah, you have him in there. But I think we've got, like I said, with Dingwall gone and with Smith gone, we're going to need to have GMC. So it just seems like put him in at the position that he does. Just seems to make the most logical sense to me.
Yeah, the decision is quite a simple one, isn't it? It's either
Yeah.
Savala in the centre with Hutch at 10, or Hutch in the centre with GMC at 10.
Yeah.
And I
think that second option is, and that's something against Savala. I think he's done actually quite well in the centre. I just think GMC as a 10 and Hutch as a 12 is a miles better option than Hutch at 10 and Savala at 12. And that's nothing against either Hutch or Savala. I just think, we've already got enough people missing. You've got injuries, you've got people gone. This is still very much a must-win game because, we're still eighth. We're within touching distance, but we're still eighth. And that win could bump us up a good few places. So I think we need GMC in there and Hutch doing what he does best.
The problem being is, we picked this team here. We seem to have a hole on the wing, right? If Hendy's not fit, we've got a problem, haven't we? Because we're a player short, and maybe that's when Litchfield has to play on the wing.
Say play Litchfield.
Either that,
Savala in the centre.
Yeah, very possibly. Or
And
they bring
Savala.
Yeah.
You could have Savala in the centre and then you push Litchfield out. Yeah, very possibly. Or you push Hutch out because Hutch seems to be the kind of cover for. So he might be a better wing option maybe than Litchfield because he might have played it before, and sometimes even just playing it. But I don't think he has. But...
No, I don't think he will. He's a ball player. You're missing.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not saying. It's just I don't know enough about Litchfield to know what he is like as a winger versus Hutchison. Like I don't know. But
it's easier to not say I played there, but it's easier to play wing than it is centre. And Hutch is the orchestrator, isn't he? He's got.
No, 100%.
So you're wasting him on the wing because he just catches.
Hutch is a ball player, isn't he? He pulls the strings, makes a space, whereas Litchfield is a more direct, physical runner.
Yeah, it's possible. Or they bring someone like a Will Glister or someone. I don't know what his status is at the moment, but maybe they bring someone in that has match time for Bedford who's played on the wing. Like there's so many different kind of options they can go for. I don't think they will. I still think they'll push someone that's already played enough games out there. But yeah.
Yeah, I think Glister played for Cambridge at the weekend. That's where he's played. He played for Cambridge this weekend. Pretty heavy loss to London Scottish, unfortunately. But yeah, he played in that game. So he is probably potentially a bench slot, I'd say.
Very possibly.
They would push Litchfield out rather than bring Glister in.
I'm just trying to think of who your backups are. Like
Yeah. And then, it's really, so we're really hoping Hendy's fit because, I think the reason that the choice between you said there about Ram at fullback or Hendy at fullback, and I think they bring different things. Ram, obviously, phenomenally, probably the best in the squad in the air, and his ability to change direction and his handling was top notch in the game against Munster. Those distributions to set Seabrook up was top notch. What Hendy probably brings that Ram doesn't is more of that punch up from the back. He probably breaks the line a bit more often, and therefore in returning kicks, he's probably likely to make something happen out of nothing. He's probably a bit faster, so he can get across the pitch quicker, create one side. You take the ball on the right hand side, and you're 22, and you've got open space. Your goal is trying to beat the outside of the defence through the middle of the pitch, so that you can create an overlap on the left. He's probably got that bit extra pace and power to do those things.
Yeah, I think.
But Ram's
I definitely think it definitely depends on the opposition. Like you said, I've always said this. I said if you have a team that likes to kick to compete and likes to put high balls up in the air, you need Ram in that 15 slot because he just is the best operator at that. So yeah. So what decision they make, but having both of them on the pitch would be fantastic either way. So let's just hope he is fit and raring to go.
It looks a very exciting team at that point.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, so let's start thinking about. Sorry,
you got to worry about cover then. That's the only thing on the bench, isn't you?
Yeah. That's really where it might tell at the end of the day, possibly.
Harlan, you probably have McParland as scrum half, but then who's the back to cover? You'll probably go 8-2 split again
if they can find a second row.
It
might probably be who. So if say Gus is at 8 and Pollock's at 7, Kemeny at 6. You probably got the other Pearson and Angus got Young making it an 8-2 split, haven't you?
Yeah,
And therefore, maybe McParland, if he's fit on the bench, it's probably going to be a youngster.
Yeah.
Academy, one of the academy, maybe Glister. Like I said, he played at the weekend, but
possibly.
Interesting. But all right, so thinking about results now. I mean, we'll have a prediction. I think we'll add a bit more spice to this because it sort of gets undervalued. So we'll go point for the margin, point for calling a try score, and a point for calling the result. Okay, and we'll take head at the end of the season. So the person, if you get it within 3 on the margin, so you call the result, get the margin within 3, you get 3 points.
Okay.
If you just get the result, you get 1 point.
Okay.
And then extra bonus point for naming a try scorer.
Okay.
Listen back through this.
A try scorer. Okay.
Try scorer.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
What are we going?
I'm going 25-30.
Okay. So 5 try scorer.
I'm gonna go Pollock.
The chosen one.
I'm gonna go 26-28. I'm gonna go what I think is safe-ish with a try, but who bloody knows? I'm gonna say Ram.
Okay. So you both.
But I want it to be a Henry Pollock hat trick, obviously. But I'm gonna say Ram.
So you've got 5-point winning margin with Pollock scoring for Sai, 2-point winning margin with Ram scoring for Jess, and I'll be honest with you, I don't think we're gonna win. I honestly don't think we're gonna win, but I am going to go 25-32, and I'm going to go Curtis Langdon to score. However, I'm going to caveat that, right? Because if he gets called up, I think I should be able to change that. No? So I'm going to predict that the player I think is going to score won't get called up.
What if Pollock gets called up?
Then he won't.
He could do. He's sniffing there.
I think he is, but I think this Six Nations is too soon for Henry Pollock.
To be fair, we've all picked players that are on the edge of a possible England call-up. So
I'm going to caveat and say, if any player gets called up or isn't starting, you can change it before.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Because we don't know the team.
Is it?
That's
try scorer any time, or was that first try scorer?
Anytime.
Anytime. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why.
All right.
So we've got 3 points if you get the margin right, just a point if you get the score right, the result right, and then an extra point for try scorer. We'll tally it up.
Okay.
And we'll see how we're going. And people at home, play along, keep track of your score, and then you'll be able to see tell us whether you've done better than us or not.
Whether you beat us or not,
Yeah, so we'll probably be bottom of the table. But yeah.
So you can actually get 4 points a match then, basically.
4 points a match, yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, well, thanks very much for listening. It's been another interesting show, and what a game it was at the weekend. So we're hoping for similar this weekend against the mighty Quins. Hopefully it'll be an exciting game. I've been Charles McGilvray. Simon's been Simon. Jess has been Jess. Thank you for listening.
Goodbye.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.